They would never say to the Jewish community, don't say that Hitler eradicated you guys. Just say that he didn't like some Jews and he took some different routes in the way that he wanted more Germans to be in this area than Jewish heritaged people.
Sugarcoated.
They would never say to the Japanese, don't say that we bombed you. We didn't. Don't say that we blew you to a million pieces. Just say that you lost a couple soldiers while they were out at bay. It's not radical for the Jewish community to get reparations for something that didn't happen on American soil. It's not radical for people that died in the Titanic to get reparations. But why is it radical for the people that built this country who still don't even own 1% of the wealth that they created? Why is that still radical?
Welcome to Wow Black, a seriously opinionated podcast bringing you the real and raw on anything happening while Black. If Black culture's there, we're there. If you're pissed or empowered, then let's talk about it. Ride with us on this all Black everything.
Everybody, welcome back to Wild Black.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
Man, how you feeling about what's going on with activism right now? A lot's changed in 2020. We doing things differently. What you feeling about it?
It's it's movement. It's you seeing people now. It's like it's been reinvigorated or in the spotlight, in my opinion.
Are we effective?
I don't know yet. I think it may be a little early to tell. Like long term, strategically, are we effective? I don't know. I think time will tell.
Yeah. But we got somebody in the studio today that's going to be able to help us figure this out. And it's honestly a shame that we have not had her on the show before. We have talked to people all around her. I've been following her and watching her. But I am so glad we got her on the show today. So before I introduce Miss Shar Bates, I want to give you just a little bit about her background. Shar's a creator, producer, a host, and an activist. Her resume is extensive and spans from creating mentorship programs to hosting community events. From pioneer status on indie radio to social justice journalism. From behind the scenes and in the streets, activism to media outlets everywhere, including BET's Cop Watch America. She's been featured and contributed to every place from VH1 to OK Magazine, rolling out to Bossip. Because of her dedication to the movement in all capacities, from planning to protesting, she has also earned the nickname, which I love, Martin Luther Queen. So it's our pleasure to have Miss Shar Bates, Martin Luther Queen, on Wild Black. Shar, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me. And it's Malcolm Luther Queen, because you gotta have that love, and then you gotta have that tough love. You know, that revolutionary love.
Oh, that's even dope.
Look, the don't get it twisted love.
Both,
Listen,
right? Both energies.
A little bit
in
of
there.
Malcolm, a little bit of Martin. You need a little bit of both of them. But no, thank you so much for having me. I definitely love what you guys do.
Yeah.
I love that you come from a different perspective and actually allow voices that don't just go along with the mainstream to be heard, because, we are censored even within our own community sometimes.
That's so true. That's so true. We talk everything here. I mean, because ultimately the perspective that I have is the people who listen are better when they have options in who to believe, who to trust, and how they think. I have my own perspective, and I don't force it on them. But we've brought some great guests, had some amazing conversations. And I know today ain't gonna be no damn different. By the way, you can't curse here, right?
Oh, I thought you said can't. I was about
no,
to say,
no.
I was
No,
about
you
to say,
can.
I was about to say, like, yo, email now. I thought you said.
This is a free zone. There are no rules. You do it how you want to do it. Well, I lied. There are some rules. And one of them is we got to do this Wild Black shit.
We got to do that.
That's bro, you want to take her through it?
Yeah. So check it out. We got 3
I just noticed we ain't give her no heads up. We got
to give her a little bit of content. A little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
It's all good. I'm going to roll with it.
For sure. 3 questions. The last question is our signature questions. The first 2 questions just to get you warmed up. You already warmed up. So these this is what she do. So these gonna be more fun. And then the third one is our question we ask every single guest, our signature question. Are you ready to get started?
Sure.
All right. If you grew up in the hood you know about stores with penny candy.
Absolutely.
See, I knew it. Give us your top 3 penny candy favorites.
Well, they ain't pennies no more.
They
sold the fuck
ain't. They sure ain't.
They seem like they have dollars.
$1 now.
Should be $1 box.
Right.
Because back in the day, the candy had a whole bag for $1.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But definitely the fruities.
Okay.
The little fruities.
Mm-hmm.
The gummy joints.
Yeah, the chewy ones. Fruit punch, blueberry, strawberry. Let me see what else. There ain't really too many penny candies, but I definitely still love Chico Sticks.
Chico
Sticks was my
I still love Chico Sticks. That's an old hood favorite.
Yes.
I don't know if y'all know about Boston baked beans. You know what I'm saying?
What you talking about?
These is old school. You know,
yes.
they're
in the
in the penny
box.
family
Hell
community.
Yeah. Look like the little raisin box.
They're in the penny family community.
Them the
You know
joints
what
that I
I'm
really
saying?
don't
Penny
know what
candy
flavor
community.
they are. I just enjoy them.
Yes.
Yeah,
The fuck
you know,
is a
so I
Chico
would
stick?
definitely have to say the Fruities, Chico Sticks, and Boston baked beans.
Okay. That's
like
what's
that
up.
answer.
I love that answer.
What flavor is a Boston baked bean? Like, I've had it, love it, but I don't know how the fuck do you say what that is?
It's like
baked
a
bean.
little drop of cherry brown goodness.
Something, right.
You know, I don't know what's in there. I don't know what's in the Chico stick.
But we was fucking them up as a kid.
But those Chico sticks.
Chico sticks go hard. To this day.
Bruh, if you don't got no water, though, it could be a situation. Chico sticks. Chico sticks throw you off your game now. Yeah,
Right.
they'll get you now.
Don't be locked up on you, right?
Gotta be, you know, lubricated.
Right.
Speaking, we got that water for you right there, man.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Can I go live? Or?
Yeah. Have at it.
Well, bro, what was your candies?
Oh, shit. Chico stick, without a doubt.
Man, that's my top.
Mike and Ike was my shit. Mike and I, and I'm sure Mike and I ain't Negroes, but we sure ate the shit out that can.
Yeah, that Mike and Ike's go hard.
And the third one, I don't remember what they was called, but it was the straws with the sugar joint inside. What was they called?
I do like the candy straws, but you talking about the pixie sticks where you had to cut, and then they come out.
You
poured
Hold
it
on,
out.
wait. What's your IG? Wow_Black podcast?
Yeah.
Wow_Black podcast, no underscore.
Just Wow_Black, no podcast. If you really think about it, if you think about the candy back then, think about like candy cigarettes and how fucked up that idea was.
Oh, it was candy cigarettes. What was they giving us candy cigarettes back then? Then we used to be like, and it wasn't even nothing to... Wow.
They're trying to get us hooked for real.
Right. But look, I bet nobody thought that was one of their favorite candies,
goes to say
and it wasn't good.
But that just goes to show how deeply rooted the racism and stuff is. Because I bet you, I would pay cash money if we could find some white people to say that they had that didn't live in the hood.
Right. They did not have candy fucking
cigarettes growing up. I highly doubt it.
You killed that first one. Second question. It's getting cold outside, and that means it's chilly weather.
Cuffing season.
It's definitely that season, too.
It's big boy season. Forget what you heard. We ready.
Right. We got the warmth.
That's right.
Yeah.
And if you wasn't checking for me in July, your ass is chilly. Don't holler at me right now. You cold to the motherfucker. You out here shivering like a motherfucker.
He said, don't be trying to get on the teddy bears now.
Right. Are we trying to cuddle?
If you was on abs in the summer,
right.
Stay on abs in the winter, because you know them dudes, they back with their main girl now.
That's right.
I feel like we should have a question for that one, right?
I'm chilling.
So check it out. So we black people, we eat chili when it get cold. The question is, well, what's in the chili bowl? Like, what do you put in your chili?
And real talk, there's a story behind this. I got into a semi-argument with a friend of mine because this individual eats chili a very specific way. And I said, don't no black person in America
goodness. Is this like another either salt and pepper or sugar and butter question?
Like grits? Exactly.
Could be.
Exactly.
Okay, go ahead with your question.
No, that's it. What do you put in your chili?
Well, I mean, my chili is lit. First of all, I am a back newly vegetarian, so it's definitely no meat. But in my chili, sour cream and cheese is bomb. And sometimes I might be feeling a little suave, so I throw some avocado in there.
In the chili though?
Listen, have you had it?
No.
That's some new level
Once
Negro shit right there. Okay.
Right.
It's like when you discover ketchup and ranch for your fries and you meet this new world. It's the same thing for your chili. Don't try to go too fast and do the avocado. Just do the sour cream and cheese and come back and holler at me and tell me how your chili tastes.
Okay.
The sour cream and the cheese is, I'm with you. Here was the crux of the problem.
I got to hear where you finna come with
this. This person told me that when they do chili, they have rice in it. And
what would you do with the rice?
That was my point. Like,
why would you do
why would you put rice in there?
That's some white people shit.
Thank you.
That's definitely. I mean, but when do you cook this rice?
You know what it is though? That's probably.
Are you the culprit?
No. No,
I was talking to the mic.
No.
I was about to say, not the host.
It's probably a white guy.
No, it's a sister.
Okay.
Where's she from?
Florida.
Oh, you know,
she must have grew up really, really poor.
I don't know.
Because that's a filler. Like, rice is a filler. You know what I'm saying? So instead of the crackers, they put rice in there.
You definitely grew up poor if you're putting rice inside of your chili. Like, and then you must ain't have no real black. No, I ain't even gonna give you that excuse to be poor. Because my mama will beat your ass if you wasted some rice inside of chili because she gonna say you got enough food
right here with the chili.
Food.
Yeah.
The rice, that's a whole nother portion of
was it crackers in there though? See, this is
I got stuck on that because I told her, I was like,
I bet the rice was the crackers though.
That's not right.
That's it. Right. I mean, I'm just trying.
That was as bad as spaghetti.
Y'all seen
I ain't never seen nobody do that
before?
I ain't never seen that happen.
That's right. That's not right.
Thank you.
All right. We all on the same page.
Consensus is met.
All right. Third question. Signature question. What do you love most about life while Black?
I love that we are chameleons. I love that I can walk into a boardroom and sound Ivy League. I love that I can turn around and go right to the bathroom and, take my earrings off and put some hoops in and go chill with my friends. I love that we can switch it off at any time. I love that we are survivalists and we can adapt to any surroundings because we were born in survival mode and we just don't. I just love how dope we are. I love how many layers to us it is. We're like onions, and you have to have the privilege of getting to our cores.
I love that. You have to have the privilege.
Like we have to allow you to get to that point.
You do. It's a privilege.
I love that.
That's dope. I hadn't heard it broken down. Like you have to, it's a privilege.
Layers and it's a privilege to get to the core.
Yeah.
Because you got to think about it. In order for you to feel comfortable, like it's a certain level of boundaries that we have when we're around people that are not like us.
That's true.
And so I think that even people of other colors, when we get that comfortable where we feel like we can let our hair down, that's a different level of trust that we have for other Black people that we don't even know.
That's real.
That is so true. So that's like the anti-code switching is when we get to that point to where it's just we wide open.
I'm letting you into all of me.
Yeah,
correct.
When you take down the code switching, that's something different.
Right. That's what's up.
Cool. So we'll move into the dope quote. And the dope quote is words from history, religion, theology, politics, music, literature, but they come from the mouth of someone Black and they have impact on us today. And they're relevant to the episode. And I chose this one very specifically because we were talking to you and I see you undoubtedly as a leader in our community, right? I've seen you at marches. I've seen what you put out from a content, social media. And I watch how people gravitate towards you, listen to you, and follow you. And I think that's an amazing trait. And I also think that this quote is so relevant to you because you've obviously figured this out. You have to know what sparks the light in you so that in your own way can illuminate the world. And that is by Miss Oprah Winfrey. When you hear that quote, what does it bring to mind for you? And I'll read it one more time. You have to know what sparks the light in you so that in your own way can illuminate the world around you. Even though I added the word around you, but you know.
Oprah / Vince.
I definitely immediately think of self-care. Because if you are not 100%, then you can't be the person that the people around you are depending on and need anyway.
100.
You know, because if you are not 100%, then you could possibly ruin a relationship or something because you didn't do your self-care work for that day.
Yeah.
You know, because you weren't even at the capacity to be in that place in the first place. So they're experiencing sides of you that they're not supposed to see.
Yeah. I talked about it in terms of, it sounds selfish when you hear it said on an airplane, but there is something very central to when they tell you to put your mask on first before you put it on others, right? Because the reality is, if you are panicked in any capacity, you aren't helping anybody.
Nope.
So hearing you talk about the need to have self-care of yourself to make sure that you are in tip-top shape, because if you're not in tip-top shape,
can't do nothing.
Your impact is minimized, right? And at that point, you have to then realize that you are not living up to the promise that was put inside of you. There's something that's put inside of you that you're supposed to give away to completion, right? That's our contribution to the world. And if you're not healthy, you can't do that. We'll jump into this core part of the interview and conversational questions, all that. But the first thing I want to ask you is, what is your idea? What is your POV on the state of Black America in late 2020, early 2021? We
have a long way to go.
Yeah.
But we have come leaps and bounds this year. I am very much so proud of us.
Right.
We are awakening in ways that I think that our civil rights leaders have fought for us to be awakened in a very long time. And I'm proud of us that we're not only awakening politically, but we're also awakening spiritually, and we're eating better, and we have had to come back together to a certain extent. I think that if anything is hurting us, it's social media and mainstream media.
Yeah,
you know, because I think that it's a certain level, it's a certain percentage of our people that. I don't want to say that we can't save, but I think that they have been so heavily influenced that we just have to keep doing our job and allow them to awaken when it's their time.
Yeah.
And on their own.
Yeah.
But I'm so proud of us. I'm so proud of us. You know, even at the beginning of this year, you know, some of the things that I would say, people would be shocked and like, Now, where they're, even if they disagree, they're like, okay, I can, you know, they're at least, you've seen too much to ignore certain things anymore, unless you're just ignorant.
Yeah. Yep.
At this point, if you're choosing to be ignorant, you know, but I'm so proud of so many transformations, especially these young people.
Yeah.
These kids are they just make me so happy when I think about them.
They show up and show out.
I am excited to see what they're about to do, because they do not take no shit.
They do not.
And I like it.
They do not.
I love it. I love it.
They do not. I mean, you're so right. The way I see it is that across 2021, there have been a whole lot of Black folks who not only woke up to what was happening around them, a whole lot of folks in general, but talking specifically to my people, that have woken up to what's around them and what's inside of them, but in addition have found their way to be much more comfortable with who they really are.
Exactly.
Right? And there's myself included, right? What's happened this year has helped me to even feel more comfortable being who I am authentically and all the way. There's a lot of power that comes from not diverting energy into being someone or something else that we can then use when we accept that. And that's a major, major thing.
Absolutely.
So to build on that, when you talk about the impact of social media, the impact of media, what do you think the role of an activist is in helping people to continue this growth, even with the impact of social media everywhere?
We have to continue to educate and inform, and allow people to make their own decisions. And I say this, and I know it's easier said than done.
Right.
But we have to deliver more news as unbiased as possible and without emotion. Because sometimes we are telling people how to think and feel versus allowing them to develop their own feelings and then getting mad at the way people respond when if you had just reported the news, then that, and I'm learning this myself, it won't be as much blowback coming towards you. But some people are just angry and they're gonna come at you anyway. But I think the most important things is making sure that we stay more solution based instead of complaining. Inform and educate, but try to bring some solutions and some different things to eradicate it. More call to actions. We need more call to actions instead of just talking about it. Like, okay, what's the next step? Giving people options in how to join the fight. And, I think it's important for us to realize that is different positions within the movement.
Yeah.
And everybody's not supposed to be frontline. Everybody's not supposed to do the same thing. Everybody's not supposed to do the same thing. So encourage people to get activated in their own way and how they maybe start. If you can find a way to apply your expertise to the liberation and freedom of our people, that's the best way to start.
100.
Because we don't need a million people trying to figure out how to do some shit. We need some LeBrons. We got to have some people that is their specific and sole thing.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you mentioned staying as close as possible to what truth looks like the truth, and not heavily influencing it with a whole bunch of emotion, because that does turn certain people off and it messes the signal up, right? But when you stick with the raw facts and that data point, oh man, it's compelling. It's hard to look away from that. Like you say, oh, this person's just being really emotional. But no, if the facts are there and you laying them out, then it's like, hey, this has nothing to do with emotion. This is just pure facts. This is what happened.
Yeah.
And that's it. And that's I think.
And if you stick to the facts and also crediting the source, then what can they say? If you tell them this is where it came from, this is what was said, so then you leave. I think that we can do a better job of putting the ball back in the people's court versus in their emotions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it ties nicely into what we just said about being yourself, right? If you recognize that you are a strategic planner and not a frontline protester, right? If you recognize that you are good at the financing and the accounting, the movement needs all of those applications, right? They need people to do every one of those roles. And anytime those roles are not filled, then the entire process and progress is then weakened, right? Because you do need that. So, realizing who you are, embracing who you are, and understanding what your personal gifts are can drive us forward more than can anything else. You should not pretend to be something that you're not, for the emotion that comes from the feeling you get from watching someone do that. So one thing I definitely want to talk about today, because 2020 has created a lot, right? It has created a whole lot of people who talk about being activists and claim to be activists that ain't. It has created a whole bunch of people who talk about being allies but ain't never done nothing for nobody, right? I want to talk about that, right? So, what is your perspective on this new buzzword of allyship? What does allyship, in your opinion, truly look like? There's some folks out there talking about they're allies, but they ain't never picked up a book. They ain't never stepped foot in the march. They ain't never donated a dollar.
They ain't got no pedigree.
They
ain't never told a family member, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
They ain't never done anything, but yet they want to be an ally, right? What's your POV on that?
Well, I think that allies need to not code switch.
Mm-hmm.
If you claiming that you down for Black people and you support the movement, are you supporting when you get around your daddy?
Right.
Exactly.
Are you contributing to these racist ass connotations and stereotypes when you get back amongst the people that may not automatically or assumably have the same type of opinion as the average Black person? What are you doing are you actively doing something with your privilege?
Right.
Have you tried? Because I've talked to some people that feel like they're an ally, and then I talk to other people like, no, like I've been out there at the marches. I've denounced my racist parents. I've told them about them. I've you know what I'm saying, joined the organizations.
That's
like,
right.
But I'm not gonna go and loot and riot. I don't want to do this part or that part. Like, what can I do?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I think that a true ally understands that you don't understand until you allow us to verbalize those feelings to you, and you actually are with us enough to experience us. Like, for instance, I talked to someone before and they were saying that they were talking to one of their white friends, a lawyer, and he didn't believe that he was experiencing a certain type of racism until they entered a building where they kept asking him for his ID and all of this information, and they didn't ask the other person.
Right.
They didn't ask the white guy. And after that, he was like, you know what? I'm so sorry that I didn't listen to you before. This is what I'm going to do. And he actually helped him, in some business stuff to get into some doors that if he had just went in as a blackface by himself, he would not. Like, use your privilege to the betterment of the people that you're saying that you don't want to be oppressed anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's love is an action word.
Yeah.
Even if it can be something as small as you seeing, Black people going back and forth about a subject, and you seeing white people tear them down, and you understand what Black people are trying to say, and you understand how white people came to that assumed, assumption, then educate them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and I think that we also have to understand sometimes, that this is still a process for them. And while we want, I absolutely think that more allies should speak up and don't just, pander at certain times when it's convenient. That's another thing. Stop pandering. Just living that in your everyday life. You know what I mean? And even just trying to get a better understanding, giving back in the ways that you can. And, sometimes just listen. Don't contribute to the stereotypes.
Yeah. What do you think is our responsibility as Black folks inside of allyship? And what I mean by that is, I have gone back and forth with being the plug, if you will, right? Right. I've sat down, I've had conversations with white folks, and we talk about like, hey, go check out this movie, go read this book. Have you thought about this? Have you considered this? And there's a huge part of me who actually enjoys doing that because I feel like I'm contributing to our progress by helping more people to understand what this looks like. Other side of me is like, I'm so fucking tired of having this conversation, right? Why should I have to plug into this? It takes much more of my energy just to exist, breathe, and not get shot every day that I'm walking, right? So what kind of advice do you have for people who might be sitting in that same position, feeling an obligation, but also feeling tired?
We ain't as tired as our ancestors.
Ooh, say that again. Say that again.
We not. You know what I'm saying? And I think that we can, unfortunately, you don't want to miss an opportunity for another Black person not to have to deal with that.
Yep.
Here's the thing, y'all. Is some people that is going to let you get away with stuff. And then you have some people that's like me, where the buck stops here. Sometimes you do have to teach white people a lesson. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to teach your own people a lesson. But in this allyship, you know what I'm saying? Like, we have to educate them on why you don't want to do that. Because sometimes it's life or death. Because sometimes white people have been around some real passive Black people that let them get away with some stuff that if you say around the wrong Black person, you're going to get your head cracked. So, you know what I'm saying? And then, and deeper than them being hurt, that person going to jail. So sometimes we have to remember that everybody don't have as much patience as the next person.
Right.
So if you have that patience, please take the time to educate that white person before somebody else take the time to show them. Because everybody ain't going to talk about it. Some people is just going to show you. So, and then also, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're hoping that they pass on the word around the table, But the thing about it is that I think it's a healthy balance.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think that we have to make sure that we let them know that we're stern, but also with love.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's where the Malcolm Luther King part comes in, because
I love
sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes it's just not a right way to deliver a message. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes we need to make sure that we get them to understand that it is a plethora of a lot of different, it's a plethora of Black people, and what worked on that Black person over there ain't gonna necessarily work on this black person over here. And sometimes they need to learn. I think that it's important for us to give them the origin of things, because sometimes they be looking at things from just right here and right now. It's just like with the police, how, you know, if more white people understood the foundation and basis of what the police were created to do, then they would more solely, if they understood that even in their training that is racist, if they understood that automatically dogs, you know, go to darker complected people than, like, if they understood that they started off as slave patrol, then I think that they would understand a lot more and stop trying to make up an excuse for this situation or that situation. And then sometimes, you know, I'm good for a good old keep a note in the pocket of a comparison. You know, sometimes you got to show them, look at that. Look at that white person that pulled out that gun on that white man and nothing happened. Look at that white person that pulled out that knife on that police officer, stole his car, ran over his grandma, and they told him that he was having a bad day.
Right.
But then the black man that literally turned around and run got shot in the back. This is why we feel the way that we feel. And I think that it's important to express it, you know, with seriousness, but, you know, because some of them be scared, you know, little, you know, we're strong.
Yeah.
We're strong people. So I think that the delivery, as well as explaining the origin and how it's still affecting us, you know, would change. And last but not least, I think one of the best examples that I can give people is pay attention to the fact that that Rick Ross' entire song was put off for one line about rape. Another person's song was pulled off for one line about LGBT. Why is it that we are the only race of people? If you say anything about the Jewish community, anything about the LGBT community, but why is it that you can listen to us shoot them up, kill them, this all day long? Literally, if you can't put one line, but then they pulled an entire song from Jay-Z because it talked about police. They put an entire song from Young Buck because it talked about police. They tried to make NWA illegal. But you can talk about killing us all day long, but if you say anything about the police, it's a problem. Why is it that something will get flagged if it comes off as anti-LGBT or anti-Jewish, but we can look at black bodies being laid on the ground all day long on social media, but you may have a post flagged because it has COVID in it. Why?
That's crazy. That's a hell of a point too.
Right.
Ask them to think about it.
Why is our lyrics?
Why is the lyrics about us okay to be out there all day long?
Uncensored.
Why hasn't anything been canceled?
Right.
Like even hearing that, even hearing that right now, thinking about on Facebook, if you put the word COVID in your post, if you put any information, you instantly get labeled with that blocker. Yep. But we are literally dying.
Yeah.
And ain't nothing coming up.
Don't care. So that's a bias. Right? The folks who designing it.
It's a clear bias. Even on Facebook.
Well, Facebook
right now, y'all.
Yeah.
Facebook right now, why is it that you can exclude any race of people but white people from ads? You cannot exclude an ad from a white person.
I did not know that.
But you can exclude an ad from any other race of people. If they changed it, they just changed it like literally the other day.
Wow.
And it was brought to their attention and they still didn't change it.
Well, I will say this. We have never run advertising, but we have tried.
And you get denied, don't you?
Every
time I get denied too.
Time.
Ain't that crazy?
That is something. I mean every
because you got black in it.
Time.
I get denied because I got vote and hip hop in it.
Yeah.
And they hit you with that political stuff. I'm like, when is how has it been political to be black? This is how I was born. Every time. I've been frustrated about that for a minute. Like it doesn't matter what the image is, what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I can
everyone
change it down. It could be 2 words, you know, because they'd be like, oh, it's too much wording on here. Okay. What about now? It ain't no words.
Right.
You just said no.
Yep. Yeah.
Then they don't even respond. That's a whole nother story. But yeah, 100%.
We can't let you niggas get too powerful.
That's what it is.
That's what this is. Don't forget the programming here now.
Right. We giving you this this faux freedom around this now. Don't make us take it back now.
Right. Shouldn't have
Shar,
gave these niggas a
you
platform.
brought up the police, and there's a whole lot going on right there, right? We obviously have got to talk about the whole movement behind defunding the police. There's a lot of controversy about that right now. There's people standing on both sides. First things first, what does defunding the police actually mean?
Thank you for asking that question.
Yeah.
Because it's 3 words that have been weaponized.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And if you pay attention, don't they always weaponize anything that we do? It's first, I just have to say this.
Including our damn skin.
It's really interesting that they weaponize any campaign or any slogan or any movement that we do, just like how they did the Black Lives Matter movement. They weaponize
Absolutely.
that. They weaponize defund the police. Anything that starts to move and that's going to actually create momentous change for Black people, they shut it down.
Yep.
But then they put out campaigns that don't even mean what they say it means. The war on drugs. That was a war on Black people.
That was not about drugs.
Anyway, so I just wanted to put that out there because it's been weaponized. What defund the police? Defund the police does not mean that we're going to flick the lights on tomorrow and have no police. What it means is, I know, right? Oh my gosh, defund the police doesn't mean that we're saying that we don't want any police at all.
Come on,
no,
right.
we're saying we don't want bad police.
Right.
We're saying that we want to refund the police. We're saying that we want to reinvest some of the resources. We are saying that we want to invest into the community. We are saying that the resources that allow the police to militarize the communities, we're saying that the resources that allow the police to buy tanks for $1, the resources that allow police to buy Tommy guns for $1 and go into the hood in a way that you would go if you are doing the World War III versus how you would go in a white neighborhood. We're saying we don't want them to be able to treat us like we are prisoners of war. Yeah. We're saying that the police are not trained to do all of the professions that they're doing. Now, I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again because it is the truth, and I speak on both sides. The police, first of all, are asked to do too much. Yeah. We're asking them to be a therapist, right, a mediator, a child advocate. We're asking for them to do CPR and do, we're asking them to do a lot of different professional things that that they're not experts on, that other people went to school to do this. Thank you so much for saying. I'm going to take a screenshot. Somebody just said it. You have 48 people on here, but it says your page on your page is only 5 looking. They always do, and this is exactly what we were talking about. They always do this. I'm going to continue on though. The thing about it is defunding the police actually means, hey guys, these things that you are not professionals on and you're not experts on, do you mind if we bring in the experts, the people that went to school for this, the people that have dedicated their life to this, that have still have student loans that they're paying on? Do you mind if we bring in mental health advocates in those cases like Walter Wallace, where you're killing people in front of their mother when they really needed help? Do you guys mind if we bring in people that can help with people that have drug addiction problems? It's just like Shar Brooks. Somebody could have literally knocked on that man's window. But we really need to reallocate the calls that go to the police. Oh. In a perfect world, we would have people that live. The other thing is this. It's also reevaluating. Like if you look at these budgets, the budgets for police, most of the budgets for police are about 50 to 70 times the budget for the community that is actually in need. For instance, and then on top of that, if they get to decide what they're not going to do and we don't get resources back, why do we not get to move? For instance, APD said earlier this year, you know what, guys? We're not answering car accident calls anymore. Unless you're about to die or unless somebody was seriously injured, we're not coming to the calls anymore. I'm sorry. Did you give any of that money in your budget back?
Right.
Did you ask the community who pays your bills? And then on top of that, it's also a lot of things that a lot of people don't know. Like for the fact that, they'll fire a lot of these police officers, right? The police union will go back and they will fight for them to be, they'll find some type of loophole. They'll get them back on, they'll get their pension back, and then they transfer to another police force in a different town. It's no database. First of all, if any police officer in the world, if any police officer in the United States can look into a database and see everything that you've done since you were a baby in any state, why is it that we can't look at their conduct? Right. Why is it that we can't look at their record? Them. And then why is it that when they kill one of us while they're supposed to be paid, why is it that we pay for it? If the police unions, if you can step in and buy them a lawyer, hey, pay for, you know what? Pay for them. The police officers they are the only occupation that can kill someone legally and not go to jail about it and not have to prove why they killed you. Not even the judge, not even the president of the United States. And then if every other profession has to get a licensure for their profession, why don't they have to get licensure? Doctors have to get licensures and they have to be insured. Now, if police officers were to have to pay for their own insurance, we would be in a different type of situation. Yeah. And last but not least, my last point, other places in the world, y'all, our police here, it's not a secret. They're police in less than a year, right?
Right.
So a barber has to go to school longer.
Yep.
Anyway.
Right.
In other countries.
But, them clippers dangerous, right?
It's more dangerous than that gun.
In other countries, they have to, in order to be a police officer in other countries, first of all, a lot of them don't carry weapons. For a lot of people that be like, they don't kill people here and be like, why ain't they just fighting back? You guys don't have anything to fight outside of a baton, okay? Some of y'all. So it's not the same situation. Anyway, police officers in some other countries, they are required to go to school for 2 to 5 years. In those countries where, in the average country where the police officer is required to do 3 to 5 years of schooling, their police record of police killings is literally the same amount of, same bracket of percentage or lower for 10 years as it is the average police force of 6 months in the United States.
Wow.
Damn.
Wow. So in 10 years, on average, they are killing less folks.
They're killing the same amount that they're killing people in 10 years is the average amount of people that is killed in the United States in 6 months. It's because they are not adequately educated or trained to do the full scope of the job that the government and the community and, this system is asking them to do. That's why the police need to be defunded, and they more solely need to have a divestment of resources that don't attribute to the community.
Wow.
Sorry, so long, but I had to.
Ain't nothing to apologize for. I mean, it's obvious that you don't know much about the topic, right? Right. No, you delivered that.
Or passionate about it.
No passion.
Just a little bit.
But look, so to take it a step further, right? For those people who are in favor of defunding the police and have now learned what that really means, what can they do, right? Are there any actions they can take to voice their concern or voice their ideation about how this
Yes, absolutely. You need to educate the people who are still ignorant to it. Because honestly, if you think that defunding the police means to throw away the entire police force, then that's your fault for not educating yourself. And after you find out, for you to continue on, that's your problem again. And I need you to also pay attention to mainstream media and the fact that anytime a movement gets big with Black people, they weaponize it. And I think it's because we allow them to. Because what are we doing right now? Black people is telling other Black people, stop saying defund the police. Don't say that no more. Some people don't even want to say Black Lives Matter because of how much they've demonized it. I'm going to be a leader and say that as activists and people that work on police reform, we need to do a better job of educating people on what the action steps is instead of just getting them on board to the campaign. Because sometimes people feel like, oh, if you tell them too much, they may, no. We cannot, and somebody told me this, that you can't give them drops while they're gouging them with bullshit.
Yeah.
Right.
You just don't get through.
And so I think action steps would be looking into what does investing into your community means. Look at the police budgets in your area and look at what areas in your community are inadequate and look at what police resources in their budget that is clearly implicit, you know what I'm saying, like bias, and it's clearly being used, to a detriment in your community. Yeah. I think that you can start there because it's a lot of people in each communities that's working on these things. And I think that we need to stop so much looking for the national leaders because it's you know what I'm saying? It's Nipsey's and it's Martin Luther's and it's Malcolm's right in your community. Yeah. Yeah. Don't bypass those people and the things that they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Because you could be updated on what's sometimes it's things, because it's been things that I've been complaining about and people like, nah, Shar, we got a program like that. Let me show you what's going on right here. You know what I'm saying? So I think that we need to make sure that we do our due diligence to see what's already out there and what's going on and how we can be involved in movements in our community instead of trying to reinvent the wheel. It's crazy. I damn near get more support from people out of town than, you know what I'm saying? And so, we got to meet each other halfway.
Yeah. It would seem to me that people who truly claim to support the police would be more interested in the idea of defunding the police than they appear to be, right? Because ultimately they seem to gravitate more towards silencing our voice than supporting their own initiatives. Because at the end of the day, I want the police that respond to a call that should be responded to by police to be focused, right? I want them to have the time to get there as opposed to having been involved in 3 calls earlier that should have been handled by a different professional. I think everybody wins then, right?
Yeah, I think that, the good cops need to stand up more.
Yeah.
And it's sad that, see, here's the thing. The sad part is that the police are such a gang. And the police, it's some police, let me make sure because y'all be looking for something to try to attack. Because I can't say that every police in the world is bad. I just don't know too many of y'all good ones. You just ain't came up on me yet, bruh. So what I'm saying is, the sad part is that I've talked to some cops that have said, Shar, it's dangerous for us to speak up. Why is it dangerous for you guys to speak up? Is it because some of even y'all police officers feel like it's a gang? Could that be it? Could that be it? Yes, it is. It's gangs within the police force.
Yeah.
And I think that we have to focus more on the corruption that's going on, and it needs to be an easier way for us to get rid of those cops versus so much red tape, because it's too many rules that says we have to go through them to prosecute them.
Right.
Which is the core of the problem.
Yeah.
And y'all having immunity, but that's another day.
We had Nakia Jones on it, and she talked a lot about what happens behind the threats that she got as an officer, the safety concerns. My point of view is, one, I get it. I get that it may be unsafe for a single officer to speak up. But what that tells me is there needs to be more of a collaboration between those good officers to stand up. If there are enough of you all, then you should have some weight in your ass. You should be able to fight back. You should be able to push back a little
And we need to defund the police.
Right. I'm all for it.
The craziest thing in the world to me is the fact that we keep falling for it.
Yeah.
And I get it. I get it, y'all. Some people is like, okay, if it's that much of a problem, then just don't say defund the police. Just say a different word. And I said to them, listen, I get what you're saying. But why exactly they're going to weaponize the next one? And more importantly, why do we always have to change our shit?
Right.
They don't never change their shit.
We
always have to. And that's to me, and it's like, I get it, because I fight with this sometimes with, just Shard, sometimes just shut up. You know what I'm saying? Just let them do whatever they're going to do. But at the same time, how many times and how long are we going to conform for their comfortability while we're dying?
Yeah.
It's like it's crazy because they would never say to the Jewish community, don't say that Hitler eradicated you guys. Just say that he didn't like some Jews and he took some different routes in the way that he wanted more Germans to be in this area than Jewish heritage people.
Sugar-coated.
They would never say to the Japanese, don't say that we bombed you. We didn't. Don't say that we blew you to a million pieces. Just say that you lost a couple soldiers while they were out at bay and it didn't work out. And we're going to take it. And that brings me to my next point.
That's so
it's so radical. It's not radical for the Jewish community to get reparations for something that didn't happen on American soil.
Right.
It's not radical for people that died in the Titanic to get reparations. It's not even radical, apparently, for Kim Kardashian's people to get reparations. But why is it radical for the people that built this country who still don't even own 1% of the wealth that they created? Why is that still radical? We got money for everybody. They got time for everything but us. Black people, pay attention.
Yeah.
We have to make them. They never gave us nothing. So when we keep rolling over or conforming to the way that they want us to be for their greater good and to make them feel better, it's a detriment to ourselves. Now, that's not to take away from the political strategists. I get what you guys are doing, but once again, it's different positions within the movement.
Yeah.
And it's some of y'all that, it's some of us that may need to change the wording for the greater good of your campaign or the circles that you are within to further your initiatives that you already have in place. But as a whole, I
love it.
Yeah. Stop sugarcoating shit.
All right, you gotta hear the truth.
It's too raw for you for us to sugarcoat.
It's a different form of code switching, and that is what. And see, the thing about it is that every time we give in so easily, we give them another. Another piece on a chessboard for them to be like, oh, we know how to handle them this way. That's why they don't be tripping about marching, because they know how to handle marching anywhere you come from. Okay, but they don't know how to handle educated revolutionaries.
That's right.
They don't know how to handle people that understand their system and the hood.
Mm-hmm.
They got to take a different approach.
We have to rally behind those individuals that scare them, because if we don't support them, they find ways to shut them down by criminalizing them, murdering them. They're good for that.
We got to understand what leverage is.
Oh, 100%.
Using leverage.
Don't get it.
100%.
Yeah, it's like we like, oh, well, let's just do this instead of doing what's working. Because it's I don't know how long it's going to work.
First of all, I need y'all to understand that it's never been a revolution that was not bloody.
Say that again.
It's never going to be a revolution
Correct.
that is like, and the thing about it is that, I had a conversation with one of my activism friends the other day, and she was like, I've accepted that I may not see change in my lifetime. Well, I haven't accepted that.
Yeah, why would you accept that?
I ain't accepted that.
Yeah.
And I don't. I don't.
If you accept that, you give up your power.
Exactly.
And your leverage.
Yeah.
You've already gave up.
I need y'all to understand where we are right now. Exactly. Somebody said shout out to DJ Brother J. He said any conversation that doesn't address murderous cops is a distraction. And I'm glad you said that, because I need y'all to pay attention to something real quick. You remember how I was saying that they demonize any of our slogans and campaigns?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or weaponize.
Notice how every time the average Republican gets up, the president or anybody that is automatically going against the movement, notice how even from, I mean everybody, I ain't even gonna say just Republicans, because it's Democrats too. They have a whole lot to say about the KKK. They got a lot to say about the Proud Boys. They got a lot to say about Antifa. They got a lot to say about Black Lives Matter. They got a lot to say about the looters and rioters. But they have nothing to say about the core existence of why we're in the streets in the first place, which is the police.
Distraction.
Why aren't you weaponizing or demonizing the police? Why is that left out of the conversation? They're talking about everything surrounding it. Yeah. Even, to the point where I watched Biden just before the election took place. I remember them asking him about how he felt about the looting and rioting in Philadelphia, and he said, "It's no excuse. I don't support defunding the police. As a matter of fact, I want to give more money to the police." As some Black men's bodies laid on the ground. And I'm just like, wow, they really will discuss anything but the core issue.
Yeah.
And And if why haven't they demonized that portion, y'all? You gotta ask yourself those questions. You got to.
So you brought up Biden, so we've got to talk about the impact of voting and activism and Biden himself, right? Because what I feel like has happened is I saw a whole lot of people out celebrating in the streets, dancing when Biden won, right? and I get it to a point. I'm happy Trump is no longer going to be there. But the reality of this is like,
who did we put there?
To me, this is not a huge win, right? We just bounced back from an impact, but we had these same problems 4 years ago, 20 years ago, 48 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? We're still there, right? Biden is not the savior.
He is not.
And we so desperately wanted Trump out of office that we forgot to ask for shit.
It's a dangerous thing to say anybody but Trump.
It is.
It's dangerous.
Let's talk about that a little bit. Where are you at with that?
What part? I mean, shit. I mean, honestly, it's interesting because I was screaming that we needed to get more out of these candidates.
Absolutely.
Way back before we even voted. As a matter of fact, I went on MSNBC and I was talking about how the Lift Every voice plan is lacking some fundamental things with not just dealing with the police, but also, Black people, even down to like, if I don't know if people really be reading these documents.
They don't.
They don't because, I remember a lot of people saying, how much better his plan was than Trump's, but I'm like, did y'all read how cocaine and crack disparity is still not changed? How, you know what I'm saying? It was parts in there where they were talking about it's still mandatory minimum sentencing for drug dealer leaders, but we know that anything it's a lot of things that can be qualified for that.
Right.
Everybody's
a leader when they want you to be.
But I don't think it's a perfect politician.
Right.
No.
I don't think that we're ever going to have a perfect politician.
And the politician will be a savior.
I think that us getting Biden, I think that Black people getting Biden into office, I just wish that I wish that we were not so focused on getting Trump out of office that we didn't lay out an accountability plan for Biden. I think that we were just so ready to be over with Trump that we didn't even take into accountability that it could be an opportunity that he may not do what we want, but I'll be, I knew that it was going to be a problem when everybody tried to drag Ice Cube and I remember somebody had posted a meme with a red hat and it changed the letters from Make America Great Again to I was trying to help your dumb ass. And it's so sad that we are so conditioned and so used to receiving so little.
Yeah.
That we think that we will label our own people as crazy if we're just asking for equalness.
Correct. Yeah.
But at this point, I think that Black people as a whole need to come together and make sure that we get on the same page of what our top issues are as a people and what we need to be done. Because see, the thing about it is that this doesn't happen with other, with a lot of other races. You know what I'm saying? The Asian community and the Jewish community and the Latino community, they know who they're going for because they sit down with they lay out their plans. They look for a candidate to support those initiatives. And after that, they're pushing that candidate no matter what. You know why? Even if they're doing some bullshit to another community because they've already taken care of their home. We take care of everybody but us. And we have to not be afraid to ask for what we need.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that they were smart enough to use our frustration and high level of emotion with Trump.
Oh, yeah.
To force us into some other. And here's the thing. I also believe that Biden individually is better than Trump.
Oh, absolutely.
But a presidency isn't about Biden individually. It's about the system that he stands on, the people who support it, and the type of people. That shit ain't changing. Only thing that changes is the face.
I think we collectively have become comfortable with incremental change, right? Like that is okay. Incremental change is okay.
And it's not okay.
It is not okay.
They have managed our expectation of what's right down to
transformational change.
People are just, I don't even think it's necessarily that we can just say automatically that he's better than Trump because we haven't seen what he's done. And in his 50 years of government, we still need some more.
His record is rough.
But the fact of the matter is that we have to hold anybody accountable and not think that just because we don't dislike this person as much as the other one, that makes them better. Because your dislike for Trump does not make Biden a better candidate. Yeah. What his initiatives make him a better candidate. And we have to stop voting off of emotions and fear. It was a lot of fear-mongering to push people to vote versus actually discussing the policies and the change that was going to transpire.
Ultimately, I think we missed an opportunity to force people to pay attention to our needs. And now we are locked into 4 more years. Now we're locked. That's a good one.
But listen, y'all. Hey, listen up here, Biden team. Now, y'all seen how people jumped on the other side of the Trump wagon. Don't think that people won't jump on the side. It's a lot of people. We are going to hold you all accountable. Like y'all said that we needed to trust y'all because it was going to be different. What's up?
That's it. That's it.
We just got to find out how to do that, like how to make that tangible. Because, we're in a system that's not designed to do what we ask it to do. So unless people are put into positions that actually make that happen, we won't get the same thing that we always got.
That's it.
That's it. Cool. But it won't be incremental. It has to be transformational.
We are at the end of our time. What we always do. First off, it's been amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. This was really amazing. Dope. We definitely spoke on some topics that I hadn't got a chance to speak on. That some of my people was probably going to feel some type of way about me speaking on, but it needed to be said.
Hey, sometimes you got to say it. But at the end, we always like to give the mic to our guest and let you close us out. You can tell the people whatever it is that's on your heart to tell them. As long as that includes how to follow you, how to get with you, how to see what the hell you're doing. And you're doing a lot, so they need to follow you.
Thank y'all so much for having me. I love what you guys are doing. Keep on keeping on and keeping a platform where people can come on here and talk real and not feel like they need to code switch. Because sometimes you got to code switch amongst your own goddamn people.
So
anyway, but no, I have a lot of things coming up. Please follow me. I am Shar Bates with an S, not a C. And turn on your post notifications because y'all see how Facebook be doing me. But I actually just opened up a creative space. We're doing our first creative shoot where you can come in and take pictures in front of the Winter Wonderland scene. And we did an old school twist because I'm all about the family. So you can do your own pictures, or you can. We have a photographer that you can hire. But if you are a content creator, if you do skits, if you do scenes, if you do movies, my spot is set up for you to come in and do dang near a whole movie on a video budget. And aside from that, you can find me out here fighting for my people. I encourage everybody to get involved, get activated in some type of way. Find your purpose and, kill it. Don't be afraid. It's never too late. It's if you think that you can't do something because you don't have enough money, then you'll never be able to do it.
Yeah.
Amazon was started in a garage?
Something like
so
that.
was Apple.
Man.
Yeah.
So understand that you are who you are for a reason, and there's nobody like you, and nobody can do what you do the way that you do. And we need you, and we're waiting on you to take your position in your city, in this world, and in this universe. And yeah.
Amen. Archie, you got anything, brother?
Love it. I love it. People just do what you need to do.
Cool,
do what you need to do. You know what it is.
Well, people, if you are interested in supporting the movement, remember to be you, because you is who they need. That's it. Wild Black. Peace. We out.